Running, and they'll score. Looked over the sideline, then they went back under center as if they were just going to try to draw him offside again, and they quarterback sneak for a huge first down, and Mel Tucker gets a huge win. I got to tell you.
Okay. Yes, he did. I can't say anything. Let's bring in the Whizzes. We got the great Hugh Johnson. We got, of course, my man, Lawton Lunce. Listen, we got a lot to get to. First off, before we do anything, welcome into the Task Force special edition brought to you by our great friends at Xfinity Communities. And we've got two of the great men that work for that great company with us, the great partnership we've had for a long time. But Lawton, I got to tell you, and it's one of these things where you know me, that when I'm wrong, I accept it. I'm not going out there saying, oh, yeah, well, the refs sucked and, Michigan State got lucky. If you heard my post-game show on 97 won the ticket, the flagship, along with WWJ News Radio 950 for the Michigan Wolverines, I've been ripping into Harbaugh for 2-3 years now, and I lost my mind to the point where there were people like broadcasters in Cleveland that had tuned into my show to see my reaction because, they covered the Buckeyes and they figured this huge, monumental, program-defining upset. I think the worst loss by far in Harbaugh's era, one of the worst losses in the history of the Michigan program, and definitely the Michigan State rivalry. And I was laughing at you, saying, Lord, you're not really, I know you're a Spartan, and I'm a Wolverine, and, we pick our teams, and we should sometimes. You're not going to really pick them to win. Like, honestly, are you really going to pick them to win? And I'm telling you, you were always fair about it. And not only did they win, but they deserved to win. They were the better team. Mel Tucker in game two in East Lansing, outcoached Jim Harbaugh in year 6. And all I can say is I'm super embarrassed. And I bow to you. You get my baseball. Anyone see my baseball? You get 2 pens. You know what? You get my Cash App card. I've got a honey bear here. Is there anything else you want? Because you get it all. Because I know you weren't really truly believing that Michigan State was going to win, but you said they definitely had a chance. I thought they had no chance. Now we know it's a COVID year. It's crazy. Wacky things are happening, but it doesn't matter. There's no excuses. I thought that there was really less than, a 1% chance that Michigan State won that game, and yet they did. And hats off to you. All the accolades deserved by Michigan State. Mel Tucker. If I'm Sparty right now, I'm happier Mel Tucker's the coach than I am that Jim Harbaugh is my coach.
Well, I don't think you're way off. I think the rest of the country also agreed with you, especially a lot of the odds makers. I mean, 26 points was the spread. I mean, Michigan was heavily favored in this contest. I think a lot was put on their victory against Minnesota. When we saw Minnesota lose to Maryland, and you started to think, well, Minnesota's got 2 games where they've given up 45-plus points. Maybe they're not as good as advertised. And then you couple that with Michigan State looking very lost in their first game with 7 turnovers and a loss to Rutgers. I mean, I could sort of see where Michigan may have overlooked this matchup, but I think it was very clear on Saturday the more prepared team defensively was Michigan State, and I think that this is a big miss by Harbaugh. It just didn't look prepared. Didn't look like they wanted to make any adjustments on defense. And Rocky Lombardi really, especially with Ricky Whiteman, they torched the Michigan secondary.
Right to Marietta, Georgia. And listen, and Hugh, it's one of these things. And Hugh, I want to get to you in a second here, but I want to set the show up. We got big surprises throughout. From what I've been told, we got some very special people watching. So for you, hi, special people. So let me just say this. They, of course, didn't overlook the game. People will say, I went to the Michigan Notre Dame game a few years ago in South Bend. I literally watched Michigan get off the bus. They looked fine. They looked ready. They looked focused. It's not that they're not getting up for the game. It's not that they're not aware of how important the game is. It all, for me, when it comes to my Wolverines, starts with Jim Harbaugh. Yeah, they might be hyped. Yeah, the Chase Winovich revenge tour was great until it wasn't against Ohio State. But this is the problem. In the biggest moments, in the biggest games, Harbaugh's teams aren't ready. Mark D'Antonio's and now Mel Tucker's are. So you can say all you want about, they obviously were up for it, but we're ready. They're obviously always up for it, but they're not ready. They're not prepared.
Yeah, all sizzle, no steak. That's kind of what I look at. That's kind of what I look at when I look at Michigan now. It's that there's a win in the beginning of the year, or a couple of wins, or you start off against some more inferior opponents. Well, you don't get that chance this year. This year is a really interesting year with that. So you have to be double prepared. I just like the way, Mel Tucker, he was easy to overlook too. We talked about this last week and on the remote show in Auburn Hills on Thursday about how Mel Tucker really only had 1 year of head coaching experience, but he had been with Nick Saban on a couple of different teams. And this guy proved on Saturday, and I think he got the whole fan base involved. And I think he's got their back now. Hey, we made some mistakes against Rutgers. We're not going to turn the ball over 7 times. They didn't turn the ball over at all on Saturday. They played very mistake-free football, and they got it done. They never trailed. That was on the road. So I tell you what, man, a lot of crazy things happening over the weekend with Halloween, and I was excited, obviously, but Michigan. Now we got to see how they respond against Indiana this week. I think that you're really going to see what they're made of on Saturday.
Yeah, it's you can say anything you want about a team having more talent, a team knowing the stakes but not being ready in the biggest moments. That's what it's been like for Michigan under Jim Harbaugh. It's the bottom line. I lit into him on my postgame show, and I've said it for the last couple of years. Last year was kind of an Indy or bust thing for me. What's the point after 5 now going into 6 years? 0-5 against the Buckeyes, 1-6 for Michigan at home under Harbaugh against Michigan State and Ohio State. And you can argue, I'm not saying you two guys, but people that are watching and people that call me on my various shows and tune in for all the different things that I do when I bring this up can argue me all they want. And the 10 or 11 or 12 biggest games, 4 Ohio State games, trouble to snap, Iowa year 1, the 2 New Year's 6 bowl games. I can keep going on, Wisconsin, Penn State. In the 11, 10, 12 biggest games, they're all losses for Michigan. So
it's not just one-off anymore, right? It's not just a one-off situation. You could make that argument with trouble with the snap that we had no business winning that game. And we probably had no business winning in 2017 in Ann Arbor either. You did. When you were heavily favored. We had some weather conditions, but at some point, there's just excuses at this point, and to recruit like Michigan does versus Michigan State and still have something like that happen, what we saw on Saturday, at some point you got to say it's coaching that is the problem. And we've got players. We just got to have the coaches to be able to develop those players. They're really good in high school, but when they get here, they got to kind of step up their game. And I think that really just falls on coaching.
It does. All right. We got a lot of questions coming in from people. We're going to get to those. We got a lot to get to on the show. I want to do a couple of things here. First, welcome everyone again to the Task Force Special Edition brought to you by Xfinity Communities. We love the partnership. We've been doing this for several months now. We got the great Hugh Johnson there. I know there was a little kid floating around there. Explain the kid for the people out there, because I heard it in the background for a minute.
That's the prodigy. That's the elite baby, happened on a trip through Xfinity. So, and he's 9 months, and that's the prodigy, man. You'll be talking about him on some Sundays or maybe playing some baseball later on down the road for sure.
I can't wait till he fit. What's his name, by the way?
I'm the fourth in my family, so he shares my same name. His name is Hugh Johnson. He's
Hugh Johnson V. He's Hugh Johnson V.
Yeah.
I can't wait till he fits in that jersey, that number 52 Purdue jersey behind you.
Oh yeah.
We'll talk about Purdue a little bit as well. But so listen, we got a chance for you to win $5,000 from Xfinity. Who doesn't want that? We're obviously going to react to Michigan and Michigan State and what happened over the weekend. Lions, we've got a preview for Monday Night Football. Tampa Brady against the Giants. 2 real bad Sunday into Monday night games this weekend. Philly and Dallas. And whoever scheduled Tampa and the Giants on Monday Night Football in a non-flex situation to them. But I do want to throw this out there and let everyone know that, we really, you two are part of the Xfinity Communities. The show is obviously part of what we're trying to expound upon to let people know just what you guys do. And if people are interested, if viewers are interested in support or services from Xfinity, all you got to do is text XC Task Force to 734-887-6008. It's right in front of you on your screen. And a rep will reach out directly to you. We talk about this every show. I think it's important to let people know that are watching for the first time that when you've got a company like Xfinity and obviously Xfinity Communities, you're not just a number. we obviously have so many choices we can get these days when it comes to cable and internet providers and all that kind of stuff. And that you guys take this as a community feel. And at the end of the show, we always give shout outs. You guys reference specific people in your Xfinity community. So let everyone know what it means when you say a rep will reach out to you directly if they text in XC Task Force, that number.
Well, first of all, our biggest priority is the customer experience. So when you text that number, and let's say, for example, I get the message, I'm going to do a little discovery. I'm going to reach out to you and find out, what your needs are, and just do a little discovery. Then I can pair you up with the best rep that's available. And then that customer experience transitions to that person. And hopefully by the time they get their services installed or they get the help with the support they need, they'll leave that call saying, wow, I'm really glad I watched the task force. I'm glad I had that connection with one of the reps, and hopefully it works out. Would you agree, Hugh?
Yeah, absolutely. Just to sort of add on to what you're saying, it's really a transference of white glove treatment. So we really want to just, like Lawton said, the experience is our number one product. So we really want to just help our customers out, educate you, make sure where internet is king right now. We want to let you know based off of your specific household what sort of speeds you need and and help you get to the solution to what's a good fit for you.
Best I can do is I can do white paper towel treatment. I get the white glove thing, but that's all I had in front of me. I will get a pair of white gloves. But very well said by both of you. Now, I want to throw this out there. Hugh, first, welcome in again. We had you on for the first time last week. It was very emotional. Probably the best show I've ever done because of you. Lawton said as much. We know you're a big Purdue slap. We love it. But just if you can, people may be seeing you for the first time. Give yourself a quick little bio shout out, if you will.
Okay, yeah. So I'll throw it out there. I'm a guy who's from Detroit, Michigan. Went to Country Day as a high school.
Go Yellow Jackets! My dad did too.
Yellow Jackets, yeah, go. Went on to Purdue from there. Played for about a year or so into spring ball at Purdue and continued my education there. Turned over, graduated, and took on the world and ended up here. Kind of went through my phase at property management and ended up with Xfinity, or had the pleasure of joining the Xfinity team, to be honest. So that's pretty much a quick summary for me. So,
and your favorite all-time athlete, Drew Brees? I hope not.
No, I'll say Barry Sanders.
Well, I was just doing the Purdue thing. Of course it's Barry, because he's the greatest. You know who else your favorite athlete might be? I know Lawton likes this guy. The Rock! Oh, it's The Rock! There he is. Is it the end of the curse of Bobby Lane, Todd Gurley? Wait a minute. I'm not supposed to score? Or is it birthday laden Lawton Lunce celebrating his 50th birthday? Just kidding. All right. I want to throw this out there, boys. And, it's a big question that I addressed over the weekend, as I mentioned, doing the post game on 97 on the ticket where I work as well after the Michigan game. Hugo weighing in, asking at what point should there be a coaching change for Michigan? I want to lead into this and then give you guys both a chance, because you got an outside perspective as a Purdue guy, and Lawton, you're obviously a Michigan State guy, and I say that with respect. This is where I've been at with this for the last couple of years. I know everyone will always say when I kind of say that it's Indy or bust. They've got to obviously beat Ohio State, all that stuff. Well, Leach, who do you want? Who do you want instead? Well, I'll tell you who I want. I want someone that can win the big games. It's not year 2. It's not year 3. It's year 5. So as far as the coaching change, this is the thing. It's a very unique scenario that Michigan is in. And I'm connected to a lot of the big boosters that spend a lot of money to support the athletic program. They're the ones, as we know, maybe people don't know if they're watching, that really this isn't a pro team. You have Ward Manuel, the athletic director in Ann Arbor. He's obviously in charge of the program, but you've got millions and millions of dollars from very rich people that boost the program that definitely speak volumes and lead into what Ward Manuel does. I'm not saying Ward Manuel kowtows, but that's how college athletics work. I have a connection to a lot of them. Harbaugh still, before last week, or before the weekend, was safe, and after the weekend, still, from what many of them feel, is safe in this sense, that it's not like they want him fired right now, but his contract is up after this year. The deal and the idea is he's going to get extended for as long as he wants. He can stay in Ann Arbor as long as he wants. I think, and there was actually an article written in USA Today after the loss, I think the best case scenario is that Ward Manuel and Jim Harbaugh work out an exit strategy, because I don't see this thing getting any better. Jim Harbaugh can now win the big games in Ann Arbor. It seems like a mediocrity situation. So the best case scenario before things get really out of hand and you're 7, 8, 9, 10 years into this and you still are 0-9 against Ohio State is work out an exit strategy. I think it's time to go out there and find that next coach. Whether it's someone like a Matt Edwards from Iowa State or what PJ Fleck was able to do at Western Michigan, they go to Minnesota. There are so many coaches out there that with the resources that Michigan have could do incredible things. So I think it's time to say, okay, thanks, Jim. 3 double-digit win seasons, 4 straight bowl losses, 0-5 against the Buckeyes, all the issues against Michigan State, and it's time to move on. Lawton is a Spartan fan. I know we got a text here saying Michigan State fans want Harbaugh to stay, right, Lawton? But listen, but in all honesty, if you, from looking from above in your hot air balloon from 10,000 feet, look down in Ann Arbor, do you agree with me, aside from you being a Spartan fan, that it's probably time for Michigan to look forward and look at someone else?
100%. And the reason I say this is just what we had to go through with Mark D'Antonio. We love Mark D'Antonio. He brought the program back to respectability. You won a Big Ten championship. We won the Rose Bowl, and that was great. The problem was, as it got towards the end, there was a little too much of coasting. And I think that a lot of Spartan fans, it just got to a point where you couldn't be competitive with Arizona State. You couldn't be competitive with certain teams. And I just think that there's a time when it's over, and you got to know when it's over. And then now we're kind of in this rebuilding phase where that's where we're at. Michigan's not going to go to that. They're not going to have a rebuilding phase. Too many 4- and 5-star recruits. You just need someone that can come in and coach these kids up. And listen, Ohio State is on a different level, especially with their recruiting. They're fantastic. I mean, I wouldn't be shocked to see them in a national championship game this year. I mean, I don't know if anybody would. But so you get a little bit of a pass for that. But I think when you look at Jim Harbaugh's record against some of the other Big Ten opponents, some of the bigger games he's been involved in, the 3-3 record against Michigan State, the in-state rival that they should beat all the time, right? You've got to evaluate that. There hasn't been any Big Ten titles won. I just think it's time for Michigan to move on. They've got the players to have an extremely dynamic program, but I just don't think this coaching staff is fit for the job.
You, your thoughts as obviously a Purdue guy, but Detroit ties. You have a lot of friends that are Wolverine fans.
Yeah, and came up as a big Wolverine fan myself anyway. But yeah, I have to agree. I think I couldn't say it any better. Lawton said it perfect, very well said. It may be quitting time for Jim Harbaugh in Michigan. It just, I feel like he has turned around the program a bit.
From where it was with Brady Hoke and Rich Rodriguez, that's not saying much.
It's not saying much at all, but we've seen some more winning seasons. Sure. But I think it's been enough time for him to actually bring back the Michigan name, and I don't think it's working out. So I think it's better to cut ties than end up on a lower end, to be honest.
You've got the resources and the recruiting. Michigan's metrics recruiting wise have missed the average 7th overall in the country during Harbaugh's tenure. Some years top 5, some years a little lower than that. But it's one of these things where there's no more excuses. I mean, you lose to Mel Tucker in game 2 for Mel Tucker. You're 0-5 against the Buckeyes. You've yet to reach Indy. Yes, I know the GPS jokes. Hey, can your GPS find Indianapolis? I mean, we know all that stuff. There's no more excuses. It's not the whole crowd of Leach or whoever. Who do you want? Who's going to be better than Harbaugh? A lot of people. Who's got it better than us? Most programs. So I'm just saying, it's enough is enough is enough. All right, we got more to get to with Harbaugh. We got rapid fire coming up in a minute, but I do want to talk about this. And, listen, we always love deals, and it doesn't get much better when you can get $250 off something. So I want to let everyone know right now, when it comes to the iPhone 12 with Xfinity Mobile, there is a $250 promotion for new and existing customers. All you got to do is log on to www.xfinity.com/mobile for all the details, or head to your local Xfinity store. Your wireless, your rules, only with Xfinity Wireless. And Hugh, it gets better from there. How about $5,000? Who doesn't want 1,000 or 2 or 3? How about 5? Hugh, let the peeps know how they can win $5,000 from Xfinity. I know it starts with Xfinity Sports are back.
It's simple. Just go to XfinitySportsAreBack.com and log on to win. It's as simple as that. $5,000, maybe remodel your home and a place to watch the games or redo the man cave. You could do all kinds of stuff. I would probably get that QLED 85-inch TV if it was up to me, but either way, as simple as that. XfinitySportsAreBack.com, log on to win, chance to win $5,000. You can't beat it.
You can't. I think I would look pretty good, by the way, in that on that TV. Now, I want to quickly ask this. We've done the sports dream scenario if we were able to win some of the money, which of course we can. But I'm going to give you $2,500 of that $5,000. I'm going to start with Lawton. Where would you travel to in a safe fashion that you have never been able to travel to before if you had $2,500 out of that $5,000?
Well, if it's overseas, I've never been to Greece. I always kind of wanted to go there. I think it would be a great place to go. Probably not this time of year. Maybe I'd wait till the spring.
Can I ask you a quick question? Do you know what a Grecian urn is?
I do not. Please tell me.
I don't know. I think $15 an hour, something like that. All right, go ahead. That's my dad's joke.
Well, just to add on to what you said about Xfinity Sports are back, 33 days left. You can log on once every single day. I've had some amazing conversations with property staff in my portfolio this whole week in regards to just getting them on and getting them up and running and saying, hey, someone won this close by last year. This is a real thing. Please get on and spread the word to the community. Let people know. We want someone to win this. Like, I would be so excited if someone from my portfolio won this. And
I think it's going to happen.
The creative ways. I think we've been more creative this year, and I think you would agree with just the digital marketing aspect of making sure people know about this on their community Facebooks, email blasts, our show, all these different ways we're trying to get the word out. I feel like there's been such a bigger effort this year, so it'll be really exciting when we find out. And then this year's got to bring some good news. December 4th.
We need it.
We need it.
We need it. And by the way, I'd like to think that the task force has been a part of that growth. So thank you very much. No, it's you know this, and I say it every week. It's an honor to be part of this experience with you guys. And we know we miss the worst game picker in the business, Chucky Rose, tonight. I believe what he told me. Wasn't he doing security duty at a donut shop tonight? That's why he couldn't come. Something wacky. We think he ducks Lawton.
51 47. Doug Gus, I can't wait till he comes back next week. He's going to get it.
He wasn't looking forward to eating that humble pie, as you mentioned.
I'm here. I accepted it.
You taking it on all by yourself, man. What's up with that?
If you had 2,500.
If he would have made it to the show this week and Michigan would have won, I would have got all kinds of nonsense thrown my way. So anyway, he's a good guy.
You should tell Michigan was a huge favorite. I would have given you any nonsense if we won like 80-6 or something. But if we just won the game, I'm not going to say anything. Hugh, if you had 2,500 of that $5,000, where would you go anywhere that you haven't been before?
I guess I'll say the Maldives. I know my wife and I.
Ooh, I've heard nice things.
I want to go somewhere warm. Maybe get one of those. What do they call it? The little altars that sit right off the water there. Yeah.
The little hut guys.
Or hut. Yeah.
All right. For me, it would be Australia. I've always wanted to go to Australia. Maybe see the Australian Open or go down there for, some major rugby event. I want to go to Australia. I've had many friends that have and have said it's great. So go to XfinitySportsAreBack.com. You can do it every day. Give that date again, guys. How much longer do they have to do that entry every day at XfinitySports.com?
33 days. December 4th is the last day. Once a day, get on there every 24 hours.
All right, XfinitySportsAreBack.com. Now, I got to give praise to Lawton, as I did last week again. He set up our great rapid-fire segment here. So let's get right into it. And Lawton, we'll start with you on this when it comes to Jim Harbaugh. And the question being, is Jim Harbaugh on the hot seat?
I think we're going to find out, like I said, this week against Indiana. They're ranked 13. If they lose to Indiana, this Harbaugh is gone. Hot seat. That hot seat is going to be too hot for him to sit down. They're going to escort him out of town right away.
Huge Johnson, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree. I have to agree. Yeah, if he can't turn over a winning season this year, he's definitely on a hot seat for sure. He's definitely going to have to find him a new home.
The boosters might not think it's hot right now. I think it's definitely a warm to hot seat, and I think that it's got to be, if he loses to Ohio State again, a super hot seat in time to move forward and find somebody that can win the biggest games. By the way, Harbaugh looks very upset there and wearing that Michigan kerchief. just a terrible loss in the second only game ever as the Spartan head coach when it comes to our man Mel Tucker. How about AJ Hinch, the new Tigers manager? Hugh, I'll start with you. The guy obviously was contrite. He came out and apologized, but he did preside over one of the biggest cheating scandals in the history of Major League Baseball. Wasn't the right hire for the Detroit Tigers?
Well, I guess time will definitely tell and prove. I'm sure everybody, we're all human, so we appreciate the apologies. I feel like it was sincere. A lot of these figures sort of get their personal life put on blast. So, with time will tell, I guess.
Lawton?
No risk it, no biscuit, in the words of Mr. Bruce Arians. I would say this is a good hire. It's like I said, it's risky from the standpoint of the fact he was part of that Astros cheating scandal. What I will say about the Astros, though, they did make it back to the ALCS this year. So it's not that they were a really bad team. Maybe the cheating part helped them get over the hedge. But I like the hire.
I think it's a good hire. I think he was contrite. You got to find the right kind of guys. Now, Lawton, I know this is you put this in just for yourself. No, I'm kidding. It's a big question. Tua, Dolphins. He didn't do much yesterday, but the defense and special teams didn't matter. They all rose up to the occasion. But the Dolphins are alive for a playoff race spot right now. Can Tua lead them to the playoffs?
Well, this is going to work out really well if he does, because the whole understanding of why we had to get rid of Fitzpatrick, they were already kind of trending in the right direction. Was it the right time? A lot of questions around Tua, but it was a team effort yesterday. What I would like to see is a little more out of Tua, maybe more of a 250 plus passing yard game, a couple of touchdowns. Yesterday, those stats aren't going to make anybody go crazy, but I feel like there is a very good chance that they're on the right track to hit the playoffs.
Dolphins are currently 9th spot in the AFC, 4-3. Hugh, playoffs are down with Tua in his first year.
Yeah, man, I'm a big Tua fan. I'm buying in. I think he can definitely lead them there. And did you see his brother at Maryland? You guys are magic.
Yeah,
they're going to be
Tua
in the game.
I'm going to say Tua's going to have a great career.
All the way to the playoffs.
Yeah, no playoffs this year. There's too many good teams in the AFC. But how about this? You got Purdue, you got Illinois, Indiana, all 2-0. Hugh, are your 2-0 Purdue Boilermakers going to the playoff? They better not be.
I think that's.
Don't even think about saying yes.
I want to go. I don't want to shoot that high. I mean, maybe we can shoot to win a Big Ten or a Rose Bowl, something like that. I don't want to shoot. I don't want to get too crazy there, but man, they're looking good. I think they're buying into the coaching staff and the schemes that they got in place. So, fingers crossed.
They got a good quarterback, Aiden O'Connell, 371 and 2 touches yesterday. They controlled the ground game, too. Xander Horvath over 100 yards rushing. I tell you what, man, watch out for Purdue.
All right, biggest surprise of those 3 teams being 2-0 for me is definitely Purdue. How about this last night? You guys were really excited about the big punch. Was it Wibbs or Davis? We have this twice here for you. Well, Hugh, we'll start with you. Better punch, was it Wibbs or was it Davis?
That was a fairly good punch. He didn't even take the guy all the way down. Definitely Davis. I'll say Davis brought the hammer and Thor to the head with that uppercut there.
All right, Lawton, what do you think? This was just disgusting. People didn't see this. Just devastating there. I don't know why people are throwing punches on NFL fields anyway. You want to save it for the boxing match. What do you think, Davis or Wibbs is the better punch?
Well, I thought Wims was very witty to hit somebody with your fist on a helmet, but look at that. I mean, Davis, he knocked him out cold. That's like a Mike Tyson knockout right there, boy. That was something. So I'm gonna go Davis, but hey, give Wims some credit, man. He was upset protecting his teammate apparently, but nothing's gonna beat that. Wow.
Yeah, it's absolutely Davis. Jeez. All right, great job there, guys. On a little rapid fire. All right, once again, I want to give out the info as we always do. If anyone needs to get in touch with the Xfinity rep, they'll reach out to you directly. If you could just text them at XC Task Force to 734-887-6008. I always love that last 4 digits because it's the same as my phone number. I won't give that out yet. Maybe if it's a fine lady friend that I meet sometime that I trust enough. But please text XC Task Force to 734-887-6008. Now, we mentioned that our man Chucky Rose, I think he was just really scared to come on. because he just was so embarrassing last week about the Michigan thing. I guess in many ways I was too, but differently. But we are going to look to this Monday night game here in a second. Let me throw the record up there. Hugh, like me, undefeated. I'm 6-0 though. Lawton, fantastic, 5-1. How about Chucky Rose? 2-4. I mean, it's not even close. Should we, like, they have like, you get relegated in certain soccer leagues. Should we relegate him already? Week 8?
Man, and he took that he's going to take a serious L next week when we talk about Michigan State. We're going to have to dedicate like 30 seconds just to Dougie Rose, give him a little jab on 51-7.
Oh, you better get that done. All right, well, let's take a look at this game tonight. Tampa Brady and the Giants. Last I checked, about an 11.5 point spread for Tampa as they invade New York. And we don't expect much out of this Giants team overall this year. That being said, they have shown some moments with Daniel Jones. And obviously with Saquon out, they've had to have a lot of people fill in. Golden Tate's playing football for him now, the former line. The defense to me has been the issue for the Giants at times. They can play really, really well and then look really, really bad. This should be a blowout tonight, Lawton. You've got Brady and that great Tampa defense. You got the showing Gronk right there and what he's been able to do. You've got Ronald Jones II. You got a lot of talent on Tampa Bay. It should be a blowout, but I warn you, that's why they play the game. How do you see it tonight, Lawton?
There's a gale warning in New York tonight. I don't know if you know this. It's like 25, 30-mile-an-hour winds. And This has been just a weird weekend. I mean, what did we see yesterday? We saw the Chargers come back on the Broncos with the Packers. The Lions got 41 put up on them. The Dolphins destroyed the Rams. Michigan State. This looks a lot like the Michigan State-Michigan game. I actually like New York tonight because I think this is going to be an ugly, nasty game. It's going to be very similar to if anybody watched the Eagles-Cowboys last night. A lot of wind. Not a lot of kicking going on, not a lot of great passing. So I think that's the only thing that's going to give the Giants a little bit of hope. And because, listen, everyone thinks Tampa Bay is going to win. You got 84% of the money on Tampa Bay tonight, and you know how this goes, man. Sometimes Vegas just knows. All
right, give us the score. You got to give a score, buddy.
It's gonna be an ugly score, like 17-12. The Giants. We're gonna give Tom Brady his number on his jersey. That's all they're gonna have. And I think the Giants are going to be able to pull it out tonight.
All right, Hugh, by the way, that spreads up to 13 now with the Gale Force wins. The Bucs by 13 in New York. How do you see it tonight on top of Monday Night Football?
Yeah, with those crazy winds and the elements and weather conditions so crazy like that, I really like Jones and Saquon as far as being improvising. And
no Saquon. But
no Saquon. Yeah, I'm going to have to go with Tampa then. No Saquon, I'm going to have to go with Tampa.
All right, give me a score. Go ahead, on.
I don't think it's going to be a high-scoring game at all. I'll take like 14-17.
All right, so you have Tampa winning. Go ahead, Lon.
I was going to say, Hugh was probably referring to Devontae Freeman. I think he's out tonight for the Giants. So I don't even know who's starting at running back. But then again, we didn't really know what was going to happen in Ann Arbor this weekend either. So I just feel like it's weird.
Don't even start with the Ann Arbor comparison.
We've just seen so much, just so much craziness.
It shows the competition for sure.
Yeah, I'll tell you this. It's been a crazy year. I like the Giants covering. They're not going to win, but I'll go 24-17. Maybe a late backdoor cover type thing. But I do think Daniel Jones runs the offense, and they run it smartly. Not many turnovers. That Tampa Bay defense, though, is so good. I guess you hope if you're a Giants fan, the win affects their ability to cover certain plays. I think in the end, though, the Tampa's definitely by far the better team. But you're right, Lon. It's been crazy. I think some of these point spreads are nuts. I think the fact that right now, or last weekend, when you guys opened up a 26-point favorite underdog against Michigan, that was crazy. So too many points. NFL games should not have point spreads in the double digits often. I know the Giants aren't very good, but I'm going to take them to cover, Tampa to win, and move to 7-0. 7-0, Lon.
And the Giants are a home dog under the lights. I mean, rule of thumb when you're placing bets for entertainment purposes only. I think the money line was like $5.50 or something. So if you got a little bit of cash and you want to, risk it, hey, like I said, I don't know. I just feel like I completely agree with you. I feel like they will easily cover. But I just feel like tonight, wouldn't that just make this whole weekend, put a bow right on that present? just to see the Giants beat Tampa Bay. You really can't figure it out anymore.
I don't know about easily cover, but I'm with you on the cover. Let's just do that. This isn't a Michigan. Just because Michigan State upset Michigan doesn't mean that every upset's going to happen from now until Kingdom Come. All right, that's going to do it for us tonight. Though, before we go, as we always do, a chance for the Jets to give some shout-outs. Hugh, we'll start with you.
All right, I'll start with our DHS properties. Been a great partner of ours. Have some beautiful properties all across the Metro Detroit area. A special shout out to Jan and Michelle over at Lake Village of Rochester Hills. Go check them out over there. Those ladies are great.
They sound great. I'm going to go check them out. It sounds like I want to check them out at some point this week. All right, let's go to Lawton Lunce and your fine shout-outs. By the way, I can't see the number on that Finns jersey. I'm guessing, is it from Ace Ventura?
Yeah, you got it, man. Number 13. That was Tua's number in college. So random. Why would I put that up there? A huge shout out to my man Ken, the property manager over at Boulevard Apartments in Auburn Hills. I know he just spent a little time in the hospital, so we're major get well wishes for a fast recovery. But more so, shout out to his marketing team, Jackie and Kelly, and all the people that were able to get all of this promotion done. Not only just for the Xfinity Sports Back sweepstakes, but for the Task Force show. They put it on every single DHS website and Facebook page. So kudos to them. Shout out to them. And my last thing is go vote. Tomorrow's election day. If you haven't voted already, get it done.
Beautifully said. And I'll tell you this, as I always like to say, spread love, not hate. Wash your hands, wear a mask. But Lawton, I echo your sentiments. Get out there and vote. I know it's a pandemic. I know, like myself, many people, millions and millions, record-breaking millions, have voted early. It doesn't mean you can't vote tomorrow. And let's break the record safely. Obviously, there'll be long lines and social distancing. But let's break the in-person voting record tomorrow. Let's have the biggest turnout since at least 1908. That's what we're on schedule for right now. I think it was at Harding, but let's get that. Let's break the records. But also, a lot of people, no matter what side you're on, tons of stress, tons of anxiety. Take a deep breath. Do it with me and just chill. I read an article that said 55% of people think tomorrow is going to be the most stressful day of their life. Not of the year, not of the decade, of their life. So just breathe in, do some yoga, have some water with those little fruity flavors in them to make it safe and smart, and get out there and vote. And I just got to tell you, it's such a great thing that we're able to do as Americans. Don't ever forget about how important it is to have that right to vote. A lot of other countries and citizens do not have that. All right, I want to thank my great friend, Hugh Johnson, Lawton Lunce. Great job as always. That's going to do it for us on this edition of the Task Force Special Edition, brought to you by Xfinity Communities. I got to get a Michigan thing now. I don't have one. Oh, no, Lawton wins. I'm Dan Leach. We'll see you next time. Until then, believe in the dream and vote, vote, vote.